What's up, IQ Patreons? It's Noah Gold, and I'm back with another ladder showcase video. In today's video, I'm going to be showcasing the deck I like to call the Traveling Gambler. Yes, there's no real set name for this deck, but I like to call it the Traveling Gambler. Let's get into it. Okay, for this deck, we start off, I call it the Traveling Gambler because the deck is focused around the card Go Hard. Go Hard is a new KDA card that basically it drains one from a unit and then shuffles two copies back into its deck. And then when you've played it 3 times, all copies turn into Pack Your Bags, which is why we call it traveling, because we're going to have them packing their bags. Pack Their Bags is 1 mana, does 5 damage to all their units and their Nexus. Very big upside. We pair that with a lot of Bowels Water draw effects. Main champion is Twisted Fate. You might have seen this deck on ladder recently. Twisted Fate is great because you have the blue card to draw. It's just a good versatile champ. If you need to clear a board, you can do that and pair it with the barrel. The red card's very effective. You also have the gold card to stun bigger units, and then blue card to help dig into more Go Hards. Go Hard's going to be a big focus of this deck, the 1 damage removal. You see it like Make It Rain has been nerfed down to 3 mana, but the effect of just dealing 1 damage to a unit, even at slow, is still good. You also compare it with barrels as well. We'll get into that. But the whole idea is just go hard, Twisted Fate, draw, try and either level TF with the draw or find more go hards with the draw. That's overall what the deck is trying to do, but I'm going to go into card for card what every card's purpose is. And I will also talk about some possible substitutions. Jagged Butcher, going down the 1-drops, 1 mana 2/2, pretty standard for 1 mana. It does have Plunder, give it +1/+1. This deck does like to be aggressive. It has a lot of spells too, so being able to play a 2/2 that can trade with their 2 or 3-drop is kind of big. The upside of it being a 3/3 does come up as well. Being able to block fearsome units as well. Next off, we have Pool Shark. Pool Shark does allow you to draw. This is the type of card that you don't really want to play on the first turn, but you can play on the first turn. It's going to help you dig for the go hard. It helps you draw extra whenever TF is out. It's a decent chump blocker. One thing to note that since you're going to be wanting to cast go hard as often as possible, if you can block a Pool Shark, even though it only has 1 power, if you block something with 2 toughness, you can finish it off with the go hard. So these smaller bodies are less of a problem, because in the overall scheme of things, you're going to clear the board up with either a red card or finish things off with go hard. So the stats on it's not as relevant as the fact that it draws an extra card. Next up, Dreadweight Deckhand, 2 mana 2/2, get the barrel. I call it the barrel. It's a powder keg that'll allow you to get an extra damage on your next damage dealing thing. Great if you pair it with Twisted Fate for the red card. You could set that up. You could also do it with Go Hard to get an extra damage as well. Sometimes you'll bank on turn 1, turn 2. They play something with 2 toughness. You play the deckhand and then go hard it. It's pretty good. Next up, Elise. Elise is not always a card that's played in this deck. Some decks will just play just Twisted Fate. Sometimes Twisted Fate Gangplank. Sometimes just Twisted Fate Elise. Elise, what I do like about Elise is 2 mana 2/3. It's good in the meta right now. These Soraka decks have trouble blocking fearsome control decks. It's like a 1-unit army because it keeps putting out the Spiderlings, which is big. It's good at like pressuring the opponent early. Also, as mentioned with the Pool Shark earlier, if they do happen to play a 3/3 that can block the Elise, or if you attack and they are just blocking the Spider to keep your army from growing, or to try and stop Elise from potentially leveling up, that does soften up the units to make your situational, your small damage removal from go hard actually finish off units. So I do like that part of Elise as well. Next up, we have Fortune Croaker. This is one of the better new cards to come out of the last set. Being a 2/3, comes into play, it damages itself and something else to draw a card. So drawing cards is obviously good. As we mentioned with the Go Hard, it gives you a body, so you're not giving up too much tempo while you're still drawing cards. Damaging your Pool Shark doesn't matter. Jagged Butcher doesn't matter much. Even Elise has got 3 toughness, so it can soak a Croaker and still be running. So one of the better cards in the deck, I think, on playing both axes, developing your board while still drawing cards. Glimpse Beyond, one of the best draw spells in the game. Kill an ally to draw 2 cards. Nice spell if you have like a barrel off of a deckhand or something in play, and they open attack onto the barrel. You can just fire up a Glimpse, get that going. If if you don't have any other way to bust the barrel. The extra spiders, talking about Elise making the spiders, the extra spiders are nice to go with the Glimpse Beyond too, giving you those extra bodies for that as well. Great to draw 2 cards. 2 cards is a great number to be drawn, especially with Twisted Fate. You pair that with like a Salvage and a Glimpse after doing a blue card. It's going to be pretty close to leveling up. Vile Feast is just a good card. You could play Unspeakable Horror as well, which could go face, but I think the immediate effect of Vile Feast, just giving you the Spiderling, is great. If you have an open Elise board, if you attack with Elise twice and then Vile Feast, you get the Spider. That's enough to level up an Elise, or at least threaten one, which is nice. But I like getting the body in play to be able to block, get the unit immediately for the Glimpse Beyond, things like that. I think it's just more tempo coming out of that than what you get from Unspeakable Horror, personally. But I think both cards are fine options, depending on what your top end is trying to do, and we'll get into that later as we go down the list. Next up, Doom Beast, 3 mana, 3/2. This card didn't look that great whenever it was first coming out, but it was definitely has shown itself to be one of the better cards in the game. Doom Beast, Nightfall, drain 2 from the enemy Nexus. This card allows you to A, block Fearsome, which you might have noticed a lot of these units aren't great at blocking Fearsome. B, you got a 3/2 that drains 2, so that could be like a serious 5-point swing in a turn. So if you're getting aggressive, Doom Beast is good. Also, the sustain that it has from being able to drain the opponent, the 4-point life swing is big. And then also, you don't want to miss the fact that Doom Beast actually gets increased from barrels. So if you deckhand into a Doom Beast, that's kind of big because you'll end up with a 3-point drain from the enemy Nexus. All in all, not a card I'd be looking to cut. There are other possibilities like Petty Officer to get more access to barrels, a little bit more versatility. But the life gain from Doom Beast gives you time to help find, alongside the Go Hards, to keep the game going, to be able to get to the point where you can actually send them packing with Pack Your Bags. Salvage, definitely have to have this as a 3-of. Dig to be able to find your Go Hard. Also love your Twisted Fate. Not much to say about this card. Twisted Fate, we talked about it. The versatility of the card is great. The level up is great. Level up TF always feels amazing. Zap Spray Fin, this card is really good in this deck, being an elusive, the chip atom, which is huge, also being able to block elusives. You also get the attune off of it, so you get like a rebate on the mana, and it's kind of perfect because if you find a Go Hard, you can cast it off of the Spray Fin. And then if you've already played a Go Hard or 2 on the way up to playing the Zap Spray Fin, it's more likely the Spray Fin will find the Go Hard number 3 because there's more copies of it in your deck. So, yeah, Zap's great for closing with the Pack Your Bags. 1-of Crumble, I've played as many as 2 of this card. I think you should play some number of landmark removal in the deck, possibly 2. There is a decent amount of, earlier list and some of the games you'll see I played in the video today. I played 2 Crumble, and I didn't play any Slippery Wave Rider, but you have Crumble here as a good way to be like a 5-mana Vengeance. Yeah, it is slower, it is a Crumble, but it does have access to kill landmarks. This is important in the Star Spring matchup whenever you play against Soraka, Kench. Being able to kill landmarks kind of big. It does seem a little clunky, but you do have a lot of extra bodies with the Vile Feast, the Spiders from Elise, and just a plethora of board space. The Crumble is not too bad, and it's a little cheaper than Vengeance, so it won't take up as much as your turn. I do like the Crumble, and at least a 1-of, maybe even a 2-of. We see a 1-of Gangplank here. This is kind of splitting the difference. I feel like you kind of want a 4th thing that can make a barrel, and so Gangplank kind of fits into that, but then Gangplank also can be a closer. Because one thing about this deck is that it will gain a lot of value over the course of the game with as much card advantage as it has, and the kind of trades that it can make. But actually closing the game on a deck that can go over the top of it is very important, and Gangplank plays a good role in that, because most of the units will die to things like Avalanche, things like that. Smaller units, they're just not closing as quickly, where Gangplank can actually just seal the deal on the top end, especially if you have them leveled up. This, playing more Gangplanks, if you decide to play a version with more Gangplanks and less Elise, it will make your early game suffer, but your later game will be a little better. Gangplank is also nice. If you do play Gangplank, you might want to consider not playing the Vile Feast and play the Unspeakable Horror, because you can hit face to level up the Gangplank in that instance if you're playing more than just the 1. It's still a consideration whenever I play it, as a one of to, well, we could try and level up the Gangplank because of how much card draw we have to be able to find it. But, you know, it's going to be more of a consideration if you decide to play more. Right now, I like the one. The one's fine. 2 Slippery Wave Riders, another 5-drop. This elusive body, 4/4, hard to block, good stats, has a tune, so you can play it and a Go Hard or whatever in the same turn. So I like the Slippery Wave Rider. It was either this or like Jack the Winner, and the elusive body just seemed like a better closer for me. The Wave Rider is great at getting in. Trigger and Plunder for Riptide Rex, which is coming up. It's also just, you know, 4 damage a turn. It's hard to block. There's not a lot of elusives in this format right now. So, I mean, it's just a solid unit, I would say. One of Vengeance. Again, I have played as many as 2 Vengeances in this spot. It does feel bad when you spend your whole turn Vengeancing. But if you're ahead, sometimes, and there's some things that you just have to Vengeance. It's kind of hard to catch back up on bigger units. So, you know, Vengeance is kind of necessary for some of the units. So, just having like 1 Crumble, 1 Vengeance for some hard removal. You could play more if you want, but then sometimes you fall a little bit short on action when you draw 2 Vengeance and 2 Crumble, and then you're looking like, whoa, especially if you're playing multiple Crumbles and you have to sacrifice a unit to actually use it. So, and there's counterplay to Crumble. But I like the Vengeance, just the one of just, oh, something's got to die. Get it out of here. There's the Vengeance. Great. 1 Riptide Rex. In this spot, and you might see in the video, I did play 1 Ruination to start when I first started playing this deck, but I did find that the Ruination was not that great. It was fine in a couple Scouts boards whenever damage-based removal is questionable around Ranger's Resolve and things like that. And also I was finding that having that plethora of removal, extra Vengeance, extra Crumble, and a Ruination, we didn't have much closing power against the slower control decks. Whenever you have these interactive pieces like Vengeance and Crumble, you don't have enough pressure sometimes against, you know, a lot of the spooky karmas that have been showing back up and things like that. That's not the game you want to play against them. And so I decided to play 1 Riptide Rex to kind of split the difference. So you could have Rex. And do note that the games from this patch are pre-nerf Rex. So post-nerf, I think you could probably still play a Rex, but maybe you could move into something else. Maybe go up on a Wave Rider or rework it in a different way. But that's kind of like the space that's needed in this deck is a couple good closers like Gangplank and Riptide Rex and Slippery Wave Rider to be able to close after getting a bunch of value early. Because you're winning the early game pretty easily with Go Hard, with the barrels, with the lease, with the early drops. You're winning the early game pretty easy all the way up to TF. But beyond that, you need to be able to scale in some way. And I think that Riptide or Wave Rider or Gangplank, these are all important parts of that. But overall, the deck is sweet. You draw a lot of cards, and you get a lot of value. And then being able to level up your Go Hard and then play Pack Your Bags is pretty huge. To a one-sided wipe, you can wipe your opponent's whole board. But I took this deck from 0 LP to like 250 LP in like 2 sessions. I think I probably went, 16-2. War Mothers has been one of the worst decks for this archetype for sure. The big War Mothers or Field Rush decks have been decidedly difficult. I'm like 1-1 against them. I haven't seen them as much on the ladder, but I imagine we will see them even less with the nerfs in the recent patch. So it's probably a good time to be playing this deck. Hope you enjoy this video. One love. Let's get into the games, baby. So in this game, we see a Vi Draven deck, not like Draven Jinx, which you would normally expect an aggro deck. In this, I still would plan to play the control role here. Keeping both 1-drops is pretty important to be able to have some early board presence. We also have Betty Croker here to be able to draw a card. We could maybe play this 3/3. Yeah, so now we're way up on board to begin with. We see we have 2 Go Hards plus the Zap pickup here to be able to help find another one. We'll use the Croker here before we do the Drain because they might potentially attack. No attack. We're not going to Go Hard. Now we have all 3 Go Hards in our hand already without casting a single one. That's a really huge draw, especially in a matchup like this. The open attack's nice. Again, as I mentioned in the video earlier, we softening up units, finishing them off with Go Hard. We see that here. This 5/4 crowd favorite could be tough. Debating on this TF here. It looks like I'm just wanting to do Go Hard, narrow this board down. If we get any damage on that thing, it would be good. blue card to help find the go hard because we cast 2 already. So once we get the third one, we'll be able to just remove everything. See Vi come down. This could threaten our TF. Could threaten a lot. Maybe it's best to just crumble here. That's a possibility as well. They do have 2 mana up, so crumble can have some counterplay. I just go for the pass. They come after the TF. No attack with the 5/4. Just use the glimpse. Try and find that go hard. They did have the mystic shot to break it up, so the crumble wouldn't work anyway. Zap could possibly find it. Nope, but does pick up a glimpse. That's always a nice pickup because, you know, you can find more of your go hards. We do have the life total advantage here. If we do play the Gangplank, we do get a barrel if we want to do a go hard for 2 damage. I don't know that that's that great, but I'm also fine with trading the Gangplank for either one of the units that are in play right now. There's a Draven. Yeah, we'll send in the 7, the full amount. If we get any damage on any of the units, but Vi's tough, kind of makes it hard to attack into. There's a Puro. We'll just get the go hard on the Challenger. Clear that out to make sure that we have full access to all the blocks that we could want on the next turn. And we do pick up the pack your bags here. Opponent comes with Give It All. Well, this is huge. Just going to make everything a 9/4 tough Challenger quick attack. And the emotes get spammed. And do notice that they're all 4 toughness with tough, so the pack your bags is going to be able to wipe their board, and that should be the game. But we had a pretty good draw finding all 3 go hards early in the game. We didn't have to use too much card draw ahead of time. Next up, Spooky Karma. Spooky Karma has been growing in popularity on the ladder. It does play, it's a go hard deck as well. It doesn't have as much card draw as we have to find the pack your bags, but the deck does have a great late game. So we're going to try and be the aggressor throughout the game and try and maintain as much value as possible. So you see us come down with a deckhand even with nothing to target. Yeah, go hard's going to take out the barrel. No big deal. We're going to try and get this TF in play. There's a River Shaper. We're going to just fire off both these go hards to finish this thing off. It's kind of perfect too because it brings our mana down to 2, which means that if we blue card with the TF next turn, then we'll get to get the advantage out of the mana. Just go ahead and trade here. I'm not going to play with it at all. River Shaper standing on board. We don't want them getting too much value. Just pick up a little blue card. This is going to be a TF that they're going to actually, they're not going to be able to ignore it over time. So go ahead and get the blue card, get it running. Elise is a good pickup because it can't be blocked. It's going to make some units. Pretty good here. Open attack. See if they block. What do they block? The Twisted Fate. If they would have blocked the Spider, we probably would have cast a Glimpse. The TF's close, halfway to leveling. Double Glimpse is big. There's a Thresh here. We could just fire off this Vengeance, but we do have to worry about Deny. Thresh can threaten this TF pretty hard. It's possible we would just want to crumble, but maybe start with the Glimpse. This Glimpse is like kind of a bait play because if they Vile Feast, they're not going to be able to deny the Vengeance. And since we had 2 Glimpses, it kind of made sense to do it like this. So now we're back at it. We were able to protect our Twisted Fate from that Thresh. Now we can start with either an open attack. They might have a Ruination. That's one reason not to play the Zap. We do pick up the Go Hard though. We'll see if they come with Ruination here. Yeah, they do have it. Could have been better to actually not develop that Zap. But we do have the Glimpse to refill. Great. But the only problem that we have in this match, and you will see this playing the Go Hard deck, is that sometimes there aren't any targets, especially in Spooky Karma, to actually play Go Hard. Don't miss out on the fact that you can Go Hard your own units as well if you want to try and level it up. So if you have something like an Elise that has some spare toughness that you can give up to be able to actually play these Go Hards to level them up. Don't miss out on that. Okay, opponent open passes. Probably just want to start the Zap train. They have 8 mana up. No reason really not to. So yeah, we have the full set of go hards here. The Rekindler for the Thresh. Debating about this Crumble. I feel like since we're gonna play the pack your bags, it's okay to just get the damage on the Thresh, trade there. Just pack their bags. We could pack their bags and then play the Jagged Butcher, which will be an open attack for 5. This also drains us back up to full health. Pack your bags. They go down to 12. Then we'll have 5 power on board. That's kind of big. Alright, Jagged Butcher off that that plunder. Open on 5. What do we see here? Grasp. The Grasp doesn't really... I mean, it's a good answer to what they got right here. See, this is what I was talking about in the video earlier where we had this Ruination and this Crumble stuck in our hand. We even played a Vengeance already. Just finding more proactiveness. See, that Ruination has been since moved to a Riptide Rex. That's why I think you want something more proactive in that spot. So we see it here. Now, they do a Go Hard here. I just go for the Vile Feast just to deny the life gain. We're not going to get much value out of a Vile Feast anywhere else in this game. They do still have 9 mana up, so it's possible that a Vengeance, I mean not a Vengeance, but a Ruination could be in effect. But, you know, just go ahead and use the blue card here. Vile Feast to start. We can pack your bags to finish off the blockers. I mean, not pack your bags, but get excited. Uses a hard 7 mana removal on the Twisted Fate that we drew a card off of, so definitely like that exchange. You see the value picked up there. Okay, now our deck is chock full. Those Go Hards. This should be a leveled up Gangplank. I like the open attack. They come with the stun. Okay. See, it's a grindy game here. Pick up the 3rd Twisted Fate. This could be a Ruination. This is probably the best spot for us to get. One of the best spots for us to get this Ruination off. But just going to leverage this Twisted Fate, draw on a card. Because they still have Rekindler mana, so if they follow with Rekindler, then that would be a chance to Ruination. Okay, the opponent, ignore the emotes, is going to deny this Crumble. They did a pass. Just trying to get that River Shaper out. Okay, so now we can start with Elise. Here comes Thresh. That Thresh is going to get crumbled, is the plan here. And we still have mana to play the Gangplank. If something were to happen here. Okay, so they pick it up. Okay. Then they get an Ephemeral Copy, which dies to the Crumble. They do have a free Thresh that they could play. But now Gangplank comes down, leveled up. This is kind of huge. When we packed the bags earlier, it hit on the opponent's turn. You do want to, like, figure out, like, red card is better on their turn. We're going to red card, we should do it on their turn if you have Gangplank. Again, this list only plays 1, but if you play more, you have to be more conscious of that. No great attack outside of just the Gangplank attack. This is going to be threatening to kill 2 of their units. Yep, it's clean. Gets in for the full 6. Opponent's down to 3. And picked up a Vengeance here, so their Vengeance is going to be met with our Vengeance. They don't have any way to sweep this board. They're sitting at 3. Gonna play a go get it, okay. So they will be able to play this Thresh and probably eat this Elise. Yeah, because that's gonna be the most pressure. Okay. And as it stands here, they can block the TF. It's possibly want to develop here. Yeah, so now we have 2 barrels. And they palm, so now they have more blockers. This is probably just gonna be a hard pass, yeah. Okay, so this Go Hard isn't going to be able to do anything with the kegs getting destroyed in this combat. And now they're starting to gain life. And, you know, the cards are even. They're winning on board. It doesn't look that great here. The decision of whether Go Hard or not, this is kind of an important spot, is we're drawing these Go Hards. Do we want to play them? Because when we play them, our deck gets more Go Hards. And if we're looking for something else, then we should go for something else. But it looks like our opponent's not up to much either. We're just waiting for them to play a unit. If they played a unit with Ruination. Again, that would have been a Rex earlier. Ooh, that's a good Rekindler post-Ruination. We drain them down to 2. Okay, pick up a salvage. Debating whether we want to go hard before we salvage. Because we can level up the go hard and then draw more of them. So it's Probably better to just use both your go hard since we're trying to get a pack your bags anyway. And we'll see what the salvage yields. We did get rid of one pack your bags. We got another one. Alright, we'll try it here. This is probably going to be met with deny. Nopeify, not as common coming out of that deck for sure, but we still have another salvage here. We're not under a whole lot of pressure. Picking up the glimpse here is going to help us find more pack your bags as well. And again, they don't have an indefinite amount of denies. Okay, this karma coming down. It's a little scary. We can start with the salvage. We don't pick it up. We can try salvage again. Tossed one, picked one up. Okay. And just start with that. See if they have the deny for it. No deny. Wipe the whole board. GG. They were at 3. So, yeah. I mean, it was a long grind, but we ended up playing 2 pack your bags to win that game. Next up, Nightfall aggro. Not as popular on the ladder as it was before. This matchup, you're going to be the control role. You want to be able to match the board and take advantage of your low damage removal spells. A lot of the Nightfall units do die to the front side of Go Hard, so it makes the matchup pretty favorable. Let me see, 3-3-2-2. They're really coming aggro. We could try and offer a trade here with this Butcher. As you'll see, yeah, trade when you can. And then they pass. The least is a good open here because they're not going to have a blocker. But they do have the third Priestess. I mean, not Priestess, Solari Soldier. So it does stonewall the Elise for a turn, but the Elise is still going to be out there. They can't really Diana kill it either. So at least just a solid unit. It's a good value unit. It's aggressive. And you see it play here. You know, just stonewalls these 2/2s. Okay, just a naked Nocturne. We don't have any fearsome blockers at the moment. So Nocturne is a little scary. Deciding whether to make the barrel. See, if we make the barrel, we're kind of committed to Vile Feasting. So I'm going to try and soften up this Nocturne. We can't block it, but if we do get a go hard, we can finish it off. And the Pool Shark's going to allow us to draw an extra card. It might be better just to open attack here. See, we have so many resources with the card draw. You have to try and ignore the fact that you're giving up value in some of the attacks. Like, we're losing 2 Pool Sharks here, but we're pushing in 4 damage. We're leveling Gangplank, and their units are a lot softer now, which is huge. And then this is where you're going to see the Doom Beast come off of the barrel, which is really huge because it's a 6-point life swing. They lost 3, we gained 3. And we're winning on board big time. They can't really attack with this stuff. We got the spiders. No reason to really play anything, but going to get the zap down because if we pick up a go hard, we can cast and remove one of these attackers at least. Which you see here. We still have the 3/2 that can block the 5/3, barring Diana showing up. And even if Diana shows up, it's okay. So that's going to challenge the 3/2. Nope, comes for the zap. Offers the trade. Guess it's going to be Pale Cascade. Yeah. Okay, so Pale Cascade, we do take a hefty little chunk here, and they have equalized this board, but we have double salvage in hand. Here's the TF. This TF is going to wipe out their board with this red card. Pretty huge. And now we get this open attack, just huge. Okay, they can trade where were they? But deciding to keep the Diana, but look how much damage that is. 6, 7, 8. They're all the way down to 4. Here comes the Doom Beast. That'll catch them back up a little bit. The drain. Alright, well, we're just digging. TF's still in play. They're going to have to deal with that. We have another salvage and a zap. So we can turbo level this TF from this point on. They need to hit a Nightfall so they can challenge the TF. Okay, just open attacks. Get the chump in where we can get it. No big deal. Soften up this Diana. And the debate here is, do you want to play it before you play the card draw? And most of the time you do, especially in this match, because it's going to help us find more. Alright, get the Pool Shark. That'll get the TF leveled up. Should level up off of this. Salvage. No reason not to just attack here, though. Since we do it at burst speed, if they try and block the 2/3 on the 2/2 quick attack, we can just do it in combat. Or if we have a negative trade, we can glimpse something away to level up. right here, we're just going to let them go to 2. We don't actually, I mean, we got lethal with the Doom Beast, so it's possible that they could Doom Beast. This is going to level up the TF. We're going to keep priority because the salvages burst, and then we're going to put the Doom Beast for the lethal. But they just can't be the TF, so pretty good matchup. Next up, Lee Zed. Lee Zed has not been as popular since the Lee nerf, but it's a matchup that I was a little concerned with. I think we could match the board early, but we don't have a lot of great removal for Twisted Fate late game. But picking up this Elise here, it's going to be really important to pressure them as early as possible. Played it slow, didn't play the 1-drop. Not going to offer the trade here. See what they do with the goat. Comes with the Zed. Okay, so now we have the barrel play. This is a good thing about not playing the Jagged Butcher on turn 1, since we had the barrel, because now we have like barrel plus Vile Feast, and we got to keep the Elise here as well. So we got to kill off the Zed, pick up a spider. They're gonna have no blockers to this open attack for 4, which is huge because now we get the option. We not only pass priority. See, open attacks are pretty important in this deck because now we pass priority with the Twisted Fate. So then we get the most information on what we want to do with our Twisted Fate. If we want to even do anything with our Twisted Fate. We're pretty ahead on board here. And with this Mentor, like, don't even really want to kill that. We can wait till they develop into it and then hit them with the gold card to just slow them down even further. So we'll see what happens. A Mentor on his own is not going to do it. Oh, it's Lee Sin. Hit him with the gold card. We're super wide, which is a great place to be against the Zed Lee deck. Boom, stun that up. And then just start the go hard train. They can pile up on this Lee Sin. One thing to note is that we have Glimpse in our hand as great counterplay against the kick of Lee Sin if they're trying to combo OTKS in one turn. So we're going to want to hold on to that for sure if you have the chance. I mean, sometimes you don't have the chance, but you should if you have the chance. And we do here. Now we're going to give up our biggest unit probably, because they have gems, so they're always going to be able to keep this Lee Sin alive. But we are pushing a good amount of damage. This is more than half their health, Nexus health, down to 6. Still have a full board, don't have to commit anything else to the board. Decide to just overpass here, see what they do. They come with the heal. Okay. And then they're going to heal up the Lee Sin. Okay. Lee Sin's about to level up. Elise gets a level up there. So we have this two-pronged attack where it's like, well, do you want to kill the Elise or do you want to kill the Twisted Fate now? Because the Twisted Fate could become a problem for them as well. We'll see what they're going to do. The thing is, if they commit all their mana, they can level up the Lee Sin, but if they do that, they're not going to have a Nopify up to counter our Glimpse, which is going to stop the OTK. Pretty important series of events here. Opponent's trying to figure it out. But as you see, we've had a full board pretty much this whole game. Elise was a big part in that. And that's one of the better ways to beat the Lee Sin is to swarm them. Okay, and we saw all the mana spent. Now the Lee Sin is leveled up. Gonna go in for the OTK with the kick on the... Decides to go after the Twisted Fate. We'll turn that into a Glimpse. Can block, doesn't really need a block, can block, doesn't really need a block, gonna block. I mean, that block, I don't think it matters one way or another. They're not gonna have 1 damage removal for the 3-power unit. Can hit him with the drain. We're gonna have a nice challenge because we could challenge both those units with the spiders next turn. And since we drain them, that's another thing. Doom Beast, Jagged Butcher. Not only does Jagged Butcher make it easy to play a Doom Beast behind it, but the Jagged Butcher is also good. You see this synergy played behind a Doom Beast because the Doom Beast can trigger the Plunder. That's why I think Doom Beast is so important for a deck like this. Honestly, just debating on what it's going to be. If we lose a Spider, that's 1 less Challenger. Gonna start off with a Pool Shark before we do anything else, just to make sure we draw an extra card. Okay, same thing with the Betty Croker, and then finally put the 3-power on top of it. So if we challenge with the 2 spiders, we're pushing with 13 around the side. Although I forgot about the Dragonling, I think, on the turn before, but that's okay. We just do this attack here like this. The Go Hard can actually remove the 1/5. They're going to have to spend some amount of mana to survive this combat, and if they do, we have to crumble to finish off the Lee Sin that is so heavily invested upon. So yeah, that's GG right there. With gas in the tank. Pretty good. And our last match is going to be Fearsome Aggro. Fearsome is the type of deck that if you see, you'll definitely see Doom Beast be the most important player in this match. Not only catching up on life total, but just having that 3 power stat line to be able to actually block our opponent's units. Go Hard's decent, not only for life gain, but being able to remove the onlookers if they have onlooker draw. Overall, I think the matchup's not the best, but very playable. There's a lot of play to this match for sure. As you see here, trying to figure out if I want a Jagged Butcher on one or not. Because again, blocking Fearsome units is hard. We do pick up the second Jagged Butcher, so that's going to be huge. Just locking in the fact that we do have a 3/3. Okay, nice Mistwraith. Here comes my 3/3. They don't have an open attack on that 3/3. Here's Kalista. Okay. We just use the Betty Croker, get the block in. They pass, we pass. Okay. Yeah, we can send the whole team here because if even 2 damage gets on the Kalista, we can finish it off with the Go Hard. And that's what I mean by attacking with Reckless Abandon in a lot of spots. The fact that you're playing a Go Hard deck makes that very possible. Alright, so red card is the start. That does finish off the Kalista. It'll soften up that Mistwraith as well. And again, you see just piling it on, piling it on. And that's why the problem that this deck is going to run into is one of the bigger problems is like Bannerman style, Ranger's Resolve, things that like really tough units are just difficult because we have so much single damage points of removal that we rely upon. Second Kalista out here might be a good time to just level up. Try and level up the Go Hard and try and set up a pack your bags. This trade is probably fine. It's kind of a scary trade into this Kalista. We obviously don't want this Kalista level. And we do have a Barrel Maker, so we're just going to go hard to try and get the Go Hard going. So you see this one used right here, even though it won't kill. It does soften up the Kalista, which can allow for a good open attack with this Twist of Fate, which you'll see here. And so you see these blocks that they can't really make because they're worried about more. Boom. Okay. And then we'll go for the big Doom Beast swing. I mean, they're all the way down to 7. That means if we do find that pack your bags, they're going to be pretty washed. Picking up another Doom Beast is going to be good because there's definitely going to be a combat here. Even if the Kalista levels up in this combat because we block some other stuff, we make room for the barrel. Alright, well, we can just start with a crumble then. It's going to force them to actually remove this 2/2 if they want to save their Kalista. And again, TF is just chilling. Zap's still out here as well. They go for a glimpse. Okay, we're still going to lose our unit on this. So that's some great counterplay. But we did play a unit already, so we can Doom Beast here for 2. Which is going to be great because now we're going to be able to block one of these fearsome units. Block the Mistwraith. We can jump block the 4/3 if we like. No reason to do so. Keeping the 3/2 to block the 6/2 on the next turn is more important in case we don't draw Pack Your Bags. But now we see Pack Your Bags here. We'll open on 2, see what the opponent does. Sapling Toss, not sure about that card. Okay, make the barrel just in case we gotta do something else. Really trying to get the opponent to commit more units to the board before we wipe their board with this. Also note that if they weren't dying to that Pack Your Bags, that barrel would have actually killed that Darius as well. Thanks for tuning in to this week's Ladder Showcase video. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you want to see more gameplay like this, you could also find me on Twitch. I stream almost every day at night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can find me at twitch.tv/NolaGold. You can also follow me on YouTube, also at NolaGold. One love, everybody. Good vibes. If there's a deck that you're working on Ladder, feel free to reach out in the Discord, the IQ Patreon Discord. I like to see that Discord growing and us developing together. pitching ideas, you asking questions. Beautiful. I love to see this community grow. Thanks for being a part of it. One love, good vibes. Catch you on the next one.